Hello everyone! The sponsor of today's video is once again Amazon Coins, which is something that I use all the time and I believe in and I stump for everybody. If you're not yet familiar with Amazon Coins, the way it works is you download the Amazon App Store, you download the Amazon App Store version of your favorite mobile titles such as Brave Exvius or War of Divisions, you purchase Amazon Coins at a discount and you use that discounted currency to make your in-game purchases. We have a special promotion going on right now for any of my viewers. If you use the link in the description, you can get $100 of Amazon Coins for only $80. Just click the link, follow the instructions, super easy to do, and it helps support me in the process. So thanks again to Amazon Coins for sponsoring today's video. Let's get to the action. Hello again everyone, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars. Today we're going to be talking about Scorn of the Ancient Hellbringer Omega. So I did this on stream of like a week or two ago and it was a lot of fun. And I'm finally getting around to making the video about it because I'm finally in the mood to get around to making the video about it because, oh my god, work has been just so crazy for me lately. So anyways, I apologize for the delay, but nevertheless, we can talk a little bit about the strat because yes, it is a fully Final Fantasy VI themed team, and it is awesome. It is truly in my very own style, and I love it very, very much. So I'm going to talk real quick about the builds behind it so that you understand the strategery where they're in. So first and foremost and most handsomest is his almighty prettiness, Sabin, monk Sabin of the cults monk, Sabin of cults, the monk. Okay, that's his official title. Basically, he just needs to be built in his tank form with some fire resistance because he just has to do some light magic tanking on the first turn. And then he does do some brave shifted mage chaining on the second turn. He doesn't need anything actually equipped for that. He can do that totally naked. I just had some residual stuff equipped to him. It didn't really matter. Ultimately, the idea behind this strat, or this party, was to make sure that I had to do as few mechanics as possible, and it really works. It was pretty amazing. So that's Monk Sabin of Cults. He doesn't need very much tankiness, he just needs fire resist mostly, and then he is fine for that first turn. Second character in the party is Assassin Shadow, and he frankly doesn't need a lot. He just needs full evade and fire resist or guts so that he can survive the preemptive. Mine was built with a few more things, but he really doesn't need it because on the first turn he just pops his illusion maneuver, which is a provoke, and then he pops his Concealing Shadow, which is a Mirage, and then he pops Jamming Blade, which is a break. So popping all three of those, as long as he has 100% evade and then 100% fire resistance, he's basically good to go. You don't have to worry about anything. Oh, and death immunity. You need death immunity too, otherwise the whole thing gets messed up. Because believe it or not, I had to take several attempts to reconstruct this team that I did on the stream because I forget things and I'm very bad at the game, and I also lose my patience. So anyways, that's all Shadow needed. He doesn't need anything as Brave Shift form. He's not using it. He is there primarily just to supply some Mirage, which I also don't think you need. He's just provoke, evade, safety bit. So that's basically his whole life. Now, the rest of the party, because this is the best party ever, is Terras, including a Terra friend. Now, I will say that I'm pretty sure you can get the five member party mission if you have like 2 best in slot Terras or just a little bit more supplement on the damage. Like if I used this Terra to summon Maduin instead of summoning Ifrit, I could probably kill it with just these 2 Terras. But on stream I was like, you know what, I could get this 5-man mission, or I could use 4 Neo Vision Terras in a single party and it will be a little bit more me flavored. And so we went for the me flavoring instead. So this first Terra, I think she's naked except for the lucid lenses. Oh, and her TMR. Lucid lenses are just so that she doesn't die to the preemptive, and all she does is summon Ifrit for the summon Esper mission. If I had her LB on turn 1, I could summon Maduin instead, and then that would buff my Terra's damage, and I could do the 5-man mission. But of course she doesn't have her limit burst available on turn 1. So instead, she just summons Ifrit so that she can do that, and then on turn 2, she goes ahead and chains up her Firaga? Yeah, her Firaga skill with Sabin, so she and Sabin chain together to make the chain that we need to finish with the other 2 Terras. Now, speaking of the other 2 Terras, my 2 Terras are equipped with Guts in their base form, so This one has Awerba's Boon, which I believe is the 7-star Vanille's STMR, so I have that. And she doesn't need fire resist as long as she has the guts, because she doesn't take any additional damage after the preemptive, so she's built like that in her base form. The other one is also similar in the base form, except with lucid lenses instead of Awerba's Boon. Does the same thing, just gotta have that guts or the fire resist to survive preemptive. And then in her shifted form, this is best in slot build, I think, or pretty near to it. So best in slot for her LB damage inner shift form, built with double Terra swords, miniature scope for the high magic, Rydia's headband for the Evo damage, Cursed Doll for the high flat magic, Ravenheart for the true dual wield and the magic, and Duty to the World for Esper stuff, as well as Originator of the Final Summoning for more Esper damage, and then Sora, Guardian of Light for the LB damage, and then a Lion's Heart for more LB damage, and that gets you a pretty fat frickin' Terra with capped true dual wield. Killers are irrelevant. 270% Esper damage, 300% Evo damage, and 205% LB damage boost. I don't think it gets any better than this. The only way to build a Terra to do more damage is to do a double rod build, imperiling rods with Realm, but it is 100% not worth it, mostly because you lose out on a lot of Evo damage, and you only gain a couple of percent in terms of damage, so totes not worth. This is just the build for her. Now on the other one, she's built almost exactly the same, except I'm limited on some equips. All of her materia is the same, yes, including a second Sora STMR, because, yeah, anyways, I make bad choices, we all know that, that's why we're all here. And then Aerith's Clothes isn't as good because it has lower flat magic, but it's not that different, and then Heliolite has less flat magic than the Cursed Doll Plus, but it is what I have for that slot, because you only get one of those Cursed Dolls, and of course she is only EX2 instead of EX3 on this one, but that is the team. And so for the Terras that are doing damage, which is these two, they just do their setup on turn 1 with the LB fill and the damage buff, and then on turn 2 they fire the lasers. The only character who doesn't do anything for 2 turns is Assassin Shadow. He doesn't need to do anything after the first turn, and that's about it. So that's the strat for this fight. Thanks everybody for watching. Let's get into the action.